Introduction and Dramatis Personae for Tristan and Isolde by Richard Wagner, translated by John P. Jackson. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. The Legend and the Opera. A work of profound passion, fiery and concentrated, born of strong personal emotions, yet moving in a region beyond that of reality. At once the boldest, most audacious, yet spontaneous expression of the genius of Richard Wagner, it is the most moving, the most human of dramas, but transfigured by the double magic of legend and music. Tristan and Isolde. These two names, inseparably bound together, call up an era out of the twilight of semi-oblivion. During centuries, the story of their love lived on the lips of men. It was transmitted by the Gaelic bards to the Anglo-Norman singers, by these to the French troubadours, from whom it passed into all the countries of Europe. If the legend of the Holy Grail represents religious chivalry, the mystic conquest of divine love, the story of Tristan and Isolde represents worldly chivalry in the service of terrestrial love that rules all hearts. Breton bards, minstrels and troubadours vied with each other in singing of the numerous adventures of Tristan, the nephew of King Mark, and of Queen Isolde, of their amours at the court of the king, of their cruel separation caused by Tristan's exile, of Isolde's journey across the sea in order to rejoin him, and finally of their death, uniting both. Dramatis Personae. Tristan, a Cornish knight, King Mark's nephew.
Read by Giordano.
Isolde, Princess of Ireland.
Read by Jenn Broda.
King Mark of Cornwall.
Read by Algy.
Cornwall, Tristan's foster father and servitor.
Read by Beeswax Candle.
Brangæna, Isolde's attendant.
Read by Agnes Robert Bear.
Melot, a counsellor at the court of King Mark.
Read by Wayne Cook.
A young sailor.
Read by Todd.
A shepherd.
Read by Todd.
A helmsman.
Read by Larry Wilson.
Narration. Read by Alan Mapstone. End of introduction and Dramatis Personae. Act 1 of Tristan and Isolde by Richard Wagner, translated by John P. Jackson. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Act 1. The Voyage to Cornwall. First scene, Isolde and Brangæna. On the deck of a ship, a pavilion hung about with rich tapestry, entirely closed in at the back. At the side, a narrow hatchway leads down into the ship's hold. Isolde is seen reclining on a couch, her face buried in the cushion. Brangæna has thrown back one of the curtains and looks over the side of the vessel. From aloft, as from the rigging, is heard the voice of a young sailor.
Westward our glances sweep, eastward our course we keep, towards our home now points the prow. Dear Irish maid, where tarriest thou? Are these thy sighs, the thrilling, that freshly our sails are filling? Waft us, O wind! Alas, and chide me not unkind, dear Irish maid, thou winsome, wildering maid.
Isolde suddenly starting up.
Who dares thus to mock me? Brangane, thou? Speak, where are we?
Stripes of blue stretch over the western sky. Smooth and swift swimmeth the ship, with a slumbering sea till evening. We'll reach most surely the land.
Which the land?
Cornwall's verdant strand.
Nevermore, tonight nor tomorrow.
What mean'st thou, mistress mine?
She hastens to Isolde's side. Isolde wildly gazing before her.
Degenerate race, of their fathers unworthy, to whom, O mother, gavest thou the might over the sea and the storm to command? O sorry skill of the sorceress, that but balsam drinks can brew. Once more awaken, wild weird night. Up from the bosom where thou dost bid. Hark to my will, ye wavering winds. Up to the strife, the struggle and storm, to the boisterous billows, wildering whirl. Wake from its sleep the slumbering sea, rouse from the depths its rendering rage. Show it the booty that I would bring it. Destroy then this vainglorious ship, the great vessel's wreckage devour, and what on it moves, their woes and their wailing, be, wild winds, your well-won reward.
Brangane alarmed at Isolde's passionate outburst.
Woe, oh woe, the mischief that I surmise. Isolde, dearest, mistress mine, what hidest thou wholly from me? Not e'en a tear sheddest for father or mother, scarcely a word hadst for the friends left behind. As since we departed, cold and still, pale and speechless, hard and chill, food refusing, robbed of rest, sore disturbed, sunk and stressed, how it grieves me thus to see thee, all so cold and changed, from me thus estranged. Prithee tell me all thy stress, all thy woes to me confess. Isolde, dearest, sweetest, nearest, let me not from thee be driven, let thy trust to me be given.
Air, I stifle. Quick, open them wide.
Brangane hastily draws the curtain apart. Second scene. The whole length of the ship is now seen as far as the stern, with the sea and the horizon beyond. Around the mainmast, seamen are seen lying about on the deck, busy with the ropes. Beyond them, in the stern, are seen knights and esquires also reclining. A little separated from them stands Tristan, his arms folded upon his breast, gazing out as in deep thought upon the sea. Close beside him reclines Cornwall. From the masthead is heard again the song of the young seaman.
Towards our home now points the prow. Dear Irish maid, where tarriest thou? Are these thy sighs, the thrilling that freshly our sails are filling? Waft us, O wind! O chide me not unkind, dear Irish maid, thou winsome, wildering maid.
Isolde, whose glances have found Tristan and remain now riveted upon him, gloomily to herself.
To me given, from me riven, leal and trusted, true and trait, death, devoted head, death, devoted heart.
Laughing hysterically.
What thinkest thou of yonder vassal?
Brangane following Isolde's glance.
Who mean'st thou?
There, the hero, whose glance is lower before my look, in shame and shyness, mine would shun. Speak, what thinkest of him?
Mean'st thou Tristan, mistress mine, whose glories all are telling, the world's great knight and lord, the hero all excelling, of fame the very hoard?
Isolde jeeringly.
Who stands before me trembling because of deeds abhorred? who won a bride dissembling, a corpse for his good lord. Deemest thou dark my doleful dirge? Go ask him thyself, the precious one, if to approach me he dare, for knightly homage and courtly care to his gracious mistress, forgot hath the hero. Oh, that but my glance could reach him, and reward for his insolence teach him. Oh, he knows full well the why. To the traitor go, message from me let him hear, ready to serve me. Quickly let him come near,
that he may greet his gracious mistress.
Command him, sooth, the all audacious that he approach his mistress gracious.
At an imperative sign from Isolde, Brangæna withdraws and passes along the deck towards where Tristan is standing. Isolde gazes after her. Then she moves backwards towards the couch on which she remains seated, her eyes steadily fixed upon Tristan during the following. Kurvenal, still lolling on the deck, noticing Brangæna's approach, plucks Tristan's robe.
Well, Tristan, message from Isolde.
Tristan rising up quickly.
From whom? Isolde?
He gains his composure when Brangæna approaches and bends to him in obeisance.
From my fair mistress, all obedient to her bidding. Troth, what message brings me the trusted maid?
Thee, Sir Tristan, troth to see doth. Will ye sold my fair mistress?
Vexes the voyage her soul? 'Twill soon be o'er. Before the sun shall set, we'll be on shore. Whatever Isolde command, here to her wish I stand.
She prays Sir Tristan may approach, such is your soul's will.
There where the verdant pastures, all sloping seaward, loom to view, awaits my king, his queenly mate, to lead her to his presence. The peerless soon I'll approach, no one else this grace shall share.
Nay, Sir Tristan, mark me well, service of thee wills your soul, that thou at once approach where she thy presence awaits.
In every station where I stand, I serve with life and blood, the pearl of womanhood. If I the rudder rashly left, who steered then safely the ship to good King Mark's fair land?
Faith, would Sir Tristan so mock to my face? Spake then not plainly the foolish maid, so hear what my mistress bade. She told me I should tell thee, command to give the all audacious, that he approach his mistress gracious.
Kurvenal springing up.
May I the answer maker?
What answer hast thou in mind?
This shall she say to Dame Isolde, who Cornwall's crown and England's might to Erin's princes gave, can to the mate be never meet. He brings the king as mate of honour bright, Tristan the knight. I care not if he called is by 1,000 Dame Isoldes.
Tristan seeks by gestures to prevent Kurvenal saying more. Brangæna, offended, turns to leave. Kurvenal sings out at the top of his voice after her as she hesitatingly withdraws.
Sir Morold sailed o'er the briny sea, for Cornwall's tribute he worried. An island swims on the ocean waves, their lives Sir Morold buried. But his head hangs high in Erin's land, as tribute paid by England. Hail, lordly knight Tristan, he tribute pays like a man.
Kurvenal, who has been sent off by Tristan, descends into the hold of the vessel. Brangæna, who has returned much discomfited to Isolde, closes the heavy curtains. The whole crew takes up the refrain of Kurvenal's song.
But his head hangs high in Erin's land, as tribute paid by England. Hail, lordly knight Tristan, he tribute pays like a man.
Third scene. Isolde and Brangæna alone. The curtains are again fully closed. Isolde rises with a gesture full of despair and rage. Brangæna casts herself at Isolde's feet.
That I must suffer speech so insulting.
What said Sir Tristan? Tell me his message truly.
Nay, ask me not.
Speak freely. His answer?
With speech evasive he answer avoided.
But when thou spakest out plainly,
I bade the proud one to the approach, where'er he stood. That said he straight, he served with life and blood the pearl of womanhood. But if the rudder rashly he left, how steered he safely the ship to good King Mark's fair land?
Isolde with great bitterness.
how steered he safely the ship to good King Mark's fair land? The tribute there to tender he brings from Erin's stand.
And when thy very message I gave as thy command, answered his henchman Curvenal.
I heard each sentence spoken, no word escaped my ear. Wouldst learn what he hath broken, my shame be now made clear. Though jestingly their lays they sing, I too can make response about a bark that small and frail to Ireland's coast came once, in which lay prone a stricken form, yea, near to death he lay. Him in his need Isolde nursed with healing salves and balsam sweet. She healed the wounds that pained him, and watched him night and day. 'Neath Tantris the cunning name selected, Knight Tristan, Isolde quickly detected. For in his sword, the trusted, she found a chip scarce rusted, in which fit close the splinter broken, that in Marolde's head sent home as token of Cornwall's mockery dreaded. I found in the wound embedded, with bated breath and throbbing blood. With the sheathless sword before him I stood, ready to strike and slay him, for Marolde's death to repay him. Never from me his gaze he took, not on the sword, not on my arm. Full to my eyes went his look, his misery pleaded straight to my heart. The sword fell down unheeded. The wounds that Marolde gave him, I nursed that I might save him, that homeward soon he might hasten, and his gaze no more on me fasten.
Oh, marvel! Blind was I truly, the guest that once I helped to nurse.
His praise has heard thee newly. Hey, lordly knight Tristan, he was that sorrowful man. He swore with oaths unnumbered, his thanks and truth eternal. But mark how the knight his fame kept bright. He who as Tantris thence unrecognized went, as Tristan quickly back was then sent. On a stately ship, in his haughty pride, Ireland's heiress he demanded as bride, for Cornwall's monarch the weary, for Mark his uncle the dreary. In Marolde's days no insult such would twice to give they desire to. Now the tribute paying, Cornish princeling would Ireland's crown to aspire to. Oh, woe is me! Was it not I who for myself shaped all this shame? Instead of swinging the avenging sword, let it fall from me weakly. Now I must follow him meekly.
But of peace and friendship enduring, the treaty was made all assuring. What heart for woe had then a thought? Never dreamt that for thee, but sorrow and need had been wrought.
O branded blindness, hearts ensnaring, daunted darings, silence despairing. How heedlessly prated Tristan's aloud of what all so sacred I held. In silent watches his life she warded, from fierce avenging foes him guarded. All that she shaped in her loving care must he to the world declare. Like laureled victor singing a phrase, loud and clear he chanted my praise. She were a gem, my uncle and lord. What think you of her as bride? The dainty Irene I'll bring to thy side, with ways and means acquainted am I. A hint to Erin quickly I'll fly. Isolde then surely is thine, and a pleasant adventure mine. Curse him, the traitor! Curses upon him! Vengeance! Death! Death to the twain!
Brangæna, throwing herself upon Isolde's breast with impetuous tenderness.
O sweetest, nearest, fairest, dearest, Mistress golden, rare Isolde, hear me, come, seat thee to me. Vain thy wrath, vain thy bewailing. How couldst be deluded sheerly, nor see nor hear right clearly? If then Sir Tristan to thee is beholden, how could he better reward thee than with Cornwall's crown the golden? Thus serving well his uncle and king, the world's greatest gift, to thee he would bring his own exalted honours and heritage, renouncing he puts at thy feet, as queen Isolde would greet, and e'en he wooed, for Mark a fair bride. Sure the choice should not offend thee, for hath he not much to commend him, of noble race, and gentle blood, in might and rank none higher stood? If the noblest of knights can faithfully serve him, who with him would not willingly marry, and as consort and queen with him tarry?
Isolde gazing vacantly before her.
Unloved and left by the hero to languish, yet ever near me to see him, how could I bear such anguish?
What foolish fancy! Thou, unloved! Where lived I the man that would not love thee, who Isolde could see, and ne'er to Isolde not sink enraptured in love? But if thy elected were all so cold, if magic withdrew him away from thy hold, the traitor truly I'd break into bondage, binding him firm in the bonds of love.
With mysterious confidence.
Mind'st thou thy mother's marvellous arts? Ween'st then that she who all wisely weighed, unprovided sent thee o'er the sea, did not trust thy welfare to me?
Isolde gloomily.
My mother's rede full oft I crave, and highly I hold the gifts that she gave. Revenge for treacheried wrongs, rest in the need of the heart. The casket, bring it to me.
Brangæna brings forward a small golden coffer, opens it and points to its contents.
Balms and balsams for thee, the mother made to her mind, and marvellous magic potions for woes and woundings, ointments precious for deadly poisons, counter poisons.
She takes out a phial.
But the subtlest draught I hold in my hand.
Not so. I know it better. A mark I made, that I might know it. This draught 'tis that I will drink.
She seizes a flask and holds it up. Brangæna recoiling in horror.
The drink of death.
Isolde has risen from the couch and listens with ever-increasing dread to the cries of the seamen.
Oh, heave ho! Oh, on the lower mast! Take in the sails! Oh, heave ho! Oh!
The vessel sailed full fast. Woe's me, 'tis land at last.
Fourth scene. Cornwall enters boisterously.
Up, ye women. No time to waste. Quick, make ready, ready and steady to land. To Dame Isolde I was bid to say, from Knight Tristan, my master and lord, behold the blazing banner, flaunts bravely in the breeze, telling King Mark of Cornwall his bride came over the seas. Therefore he begs Isolde may hasten, that for landing ready she may make her, that as an escort he then may take her.
Isolde shudders on hearing Cornwall's message, but soon recovers herself and replies with dignity.
To thy lord Tristan greetings take, and give him thus my message. Would he as my escort land me, to Mark the king would hand me, that all may be done in worthy way. To me for pardon first he shall pray. For treachery dark and base, let him first sue for my grace.
Kurvenal makes a defiant gesture.
I pray thee mark my message well, nor will I for sure prepare, nor give myself to his care, nor shall he as escort land me, nor to Mark the king e'er hand me, if my forgiveness first not be asked, as is met and due, for the unpardoned past, for treachery black and base. This says Isolde in grace.
Sure will I say that to him. Now hearken how he shall hear me.
He retires hastily. Fifth scene. Isolde embracing Brangæna passionately.
Farewell, Brangæna. Greet Erin's world. Greetings to father and mother.
Why this? What mean'st thou? Wouldst thou then flee? Whither thou goest I will follow.
Hast thou not heard? Here I will bid. Tristan, here I'll await. Prithee obey what I now bid. The atoning draught quickly prepare. Thou knowest the one I would drain.
What wouldst thou do?
Isolde taking a phial from the coffer.
This, the draught. In the goblet golden pour it out. Every drop shall be holden.
What folly is this?
Make me not grieved.
The drink? For whom?
Who me deceived.
Tristan
shall drink atonement.
Brangæna throwing herself at Isolde's feet.
O horror! Pity, I pray thee.
Isolde passionately.
Pity for me, unfaithful maid. Knowest thou not my mother's arts? Weenest that she, who all well weighed, unprovided over the sea, had sent Isolde with thee? For woes and woundings, balsams precious, for deadly poisons, counter poisons. But for biggest woes, for the highest need, this drink of death she gave, that woe should end with the grave.
Brangæna scarcely able to control herself.
O deepest woe!
Wilt thou not obey me?
O highest need!
Wilt thou betray me?
The draught.
Kurvenal entering.
Sir Tristan.
Brangæna rises terrified and confused. Isolde strives with all her might to control herself.
Let Tristan now approach.
Sixth scene. Kurvenal retires again. Brangæna, scarcely able to control herself, turns to leave. Isolde, who has mustered all her powers to final resolution, walks slowly but with great composure and dignity towards the couch, by the head of which she supports herself, fixing her eyes steadfastly at the entrance. Tristan enters and remains standing respectfully at a distance.
Command, mistress, what is thy wish?
Hast known full well what my good wish is, had not thy fainting, fear to fulfill it, kept thee so far from my presence.
In honor I held me aloof.
Of honor little to me hast shown, hast openly mocked all my commands, obeying never my bid.
Obedience only held me back.
Then little of thanks I owe to thy lord, if his service demand ill breeding against his own promised bride.
Good breeding taught where I was upbrought, that he who brings the bride to her lord shall stay afar from his trust.
And why, forsooth?
In custom search.
Since thou art so trammelled, worthy Sir Tristan, of one more custom I can remind thee. To thy foes first make amends, if they shall e'er be thy friends.
And who are the foes?
Ask of thy fears, blood guilt gathered betwixt us.
that was atoned.
Not twixt us twain.
In open field, for all the folk, the feud was for ever effaced.
Not then, I faith, when Tantris I hid, and Tristan to me was forfeit. In splendor he stood, loyal and fair, but what he swore to, I did not swear, for in silence I had been schooled. In the chamber's stillness, when wounded he lay, with the sword I stood before him. Silent then were my lips, held then was my hand, but that which my hand and lips had once sworn, I silently swore I would reckon. From that vow I now will not weaken.
What vowed, Isolde?
Revenge for Marold.
That troubles thy mind?
Dost thou still mock me? Was he not promised to me, the truest of Ireland's knights? His sword in my service kept bright. For me he went to the fight. When he had fallen, my own glory fell. In sore affliction, the oath I swore well. If no man the murder shall righten, by the maid then it shall be requiten. Weak and pale, full in my power, what happed that I slew thee not then? Right soon I will bring to thy ken the wounded I cared for, that he should be spared for, revenge for the death of the slain, whom he from Isolde had taken. Thy fate had truly been settled duly, if the warriors had known to arrange that on Tristan should fall their revenge.
Tristan, pale and gloomy, handing her his sword.
If Marold were all so adored, I prithee again take the sword, and urge it quickly and sure, that grief thou no longer endure.
Such work were not well met for me. What would King Mark, I prithee say, if I, his noblest knight, should slay? Who won for him land and crown, the hero of splendid renown? Weenest thou as worthless? What thou hast won him, bringest from Erin, the bride for the king? That he should not blame thee, the truce was unblighted, and as pledge of the oath, Isolde was true to her troth. Put up thy sword, that once I swung when seething vengeance my bosom wrung. When thy measuring look my image stole, to the king its praises, as bride to extol, it fell, for thee alone meant. Now let us drink atonement.
She beckons Brangæna to her. Horrified, she hesitates and wavers in her movements. Isolde commands her with imperious gestures. As Brangæna sets about preparing the potion, the shouts of the seamen are heard.
Ho! Hey! Ho! Ho! From the topmast, down with the sails! Ho! Hey! Ho! Ho!
Tristan, startled from his reverie.
Where are we?
Close to the shore, Tristan, dost atonement proffer. Has Tristan then no word to offer?
Silence is mistress, now bids me be silent. If I grasp what she conceals, I conceal what she grasps not.
Thy silence surely feigned is to shun me. Refusest thou still the atonement?
The shouts of the sailors are heard again. At an imperious sign from Isolde, Brangæna hands her the goblet, which she hands to Tristan, looking him full in the eyes.
Dost hear the shouts from ship and strand? Ere long we'll be upon King Mark's fair land. If he to escort me causes thee care, durst thou thus to him say, My lord and king, the work is done. A winsomer bride were never won. The one to have wed her I slew for her once. His head I sent to her home. The wounds that then his weapon gave me, she nursed till I grew well. My life once lay within her power. She gave it to me as a precious dower. and all her country's wrongs and shame threw in, forgetting strife, to be thy wedded wife. Such grievous thanks for the goodly gift, inspired a potion's atoning drift. She offered me all in her grace, that all past wrongs should efface.
Seamen without.
Cast it rope! Anchor down!
Loose the anchor, let her steer with the stream, make fast the sails to the mast.
He violently takes the cup away from Isolde.
Full well I wot of Erin's queen, and of her magic's wondrous might. Her balsam's virtues eased my pain, and the goblet now I'll drain, that to-day I may quickly recover, and heed the troth of the atoning oath, that in thanks I give moreover. Tristan's honours holiest troth, Tristan's miseries sheer distress, heart enmaddening, dawn foreshadowing, eternal trials, only truce, oblivion's lightening draught, here to thee shall be quaffed.
He drinks.
Betrayed once more, half be my portion.
She wrests the cup from him.
Traitor, I drink it to thee.
She drinks. She then casts the cup away. Seized with trepidation, they gaze long and earnestly upon each other, standing immovable. Soon the expression of deathly pallor fades from their eyes, giving way to a glow of passionate love. The effect of the draught is revealed. Their glances again seek to meet, sink in confusion, and seek again with growing longing one for the other.
Tristan!
Isolde!
Isolde sinking upon his breast.
Faithless enfolder!
Blissfulest bride!
He enfolds her passionately. They remain long in silent embrace. All the men without.
Hail! Hail! Hail, King Mark! Hail to Mark the King!
Brangæna, who with averted face, confused and shuddering, has been leaning over the bulwark, now turns to gaze at the pair locked in each other's embrace. She rushes to the front, wringing her hands in despair.
Woe! Oh, woe! Oh, inevitable endless distress! From transient death! Oh, traitor's trusting, treacherous work, blooming and wailing to heaven!
They start from each other's embrace. Tristan confused.
What treacherous dream of Tristan's honour!
What shuddering dream of Isolde's shame!
O love, long vanished!
O love, long banished!
Malicious enchantments, maddening deceit!
Menacing madnesses, meaningless threats!
Isolde!
Tristan! Traitor! Beloved!
Winsomest one!
Sweet in the soul, the sunlight is falling. Filled is the bosom with rapture enthralling.
Luscious delights, mysterious yearnings, languishing loves, blissfulest burning.
Thrilled now each breast with joys never confessed.
Isolde!
Tristan! Tristan!
Isolde!
Of world woes unburdened, with rapture beguerdoned.
Thou endowed from above, heaven's glory of love.
Seventh scene. The curtains are now drawn widely apart. The whole of the ship's deck is crowded with knights and sailors, who with shouts of joy are signalling to those on shore, which is now full in sight, with a lofty castle crowning the cliffs. Tristan and Isolde remain absorbed in gazing one upon the other, totally oblivious of all that is passing on about them. Brangæna to the women, who at her bidding come up from below.
Quick the mantle, the royal robes.
Rushing between Tristan and Isolde.
Ill-starred one, up, see where we are.
She places the royal mantle on Isolde's shoulders, who, however, notices nothing.
Hail, hail! Hail, King Mark! Hail to Mark the King!
Hail, Tristan, happiest hero, by court and folk surrounded, in splendour well befitting. There in the bark, behold King Mark, rode hither on the tide, in haste to greet his bride.
Tristan looking up confused.
Who comes?
The king.
What king, I pray?
Curvenal points over the side. Tristan gazes at the shore, apparently stupefied.
Hail, hail, King Mark!
Isolde to Brangæna, confused.
What is it? Brangæna, say why these shouts?
Isolde, mistress, dost thou not see?
Where am I? Dreaming? Ha! The draught!
Brangæna despairingly.
The drink of love.
Isolde staring with horror upon Tristan.
Tristan!
Isolde!
Must I awake?
She falls fainting upon his breast. Brangæna to the women.
Hate for my mistress.
O rapture charged with malice! O fraud encompassed chalice!
Hail to the king! Cornwall, hail!
Some of the people from the shore have clambered over the vessel's side, others have extended the gangplank, and the attitude of all indicates the arrival of the expected bride. End of Act 1. Act 2 of Tristan and Isolde by Richard Wagner, translated by John P. Jackson. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Act 2, at the court of King Mark. First scene. Garden with stately trees in front of Isolde's chamber. A bright, clear summer night. A blazing torch is fixed at the open door. Sound of hunting horns. Brangæna, standing on the steps leading to Isolde's chamber, is looking toward the place whence comes the noise of the hunting party. Isolde, passionately excited, emerges from the chamber and approaches Brangæna.
Canst thou still hear them? Long have I lost the sounds.
Brangæna, listening.
They're still nearby. Plainly I hear the horns.
Isolde, listening.
Lurking fear deludes thy ear, deceptive the sound of the rustling leaves, wantonly stirred by the wind.
Heart led by thy wishes' wildering whirl, that fondly filleth thy fancy, I still hear the echoing horns.
Isolde, listening.
No echoing horn sounds half so sweet. The purling fount's rippling current murmurs so merrily on. How heard I its voice if horn still harked? In the stillness of night, alone it laughs out. My loved one awaits in the silence of night. And while horns seem to sound near, wouldst keep him afar with thy fear.
For him who waits, oh heed my warning, are spies out lurking tonight. Because thou art blind, ween'st that the world is not aware of this woe? When there on the haughty ship from Tristan's tremulous hand, the trembling bride herself beside, my good King Mark was received, when all perplexed at thee paralyzed looked, and the worthy monarch, mindful of thee, the woes of the wearisome voyage loudly and lovingly lamented. One there was there, whom well I watched, who on Tristan alone kept ward. With glaring glance and lowering look, he sought in his every mien whatever might serve for his spleen. Knavishly lurking, I oft on him light, of him who would both ensnare, of Merlot I prithee beware.
Mean'st thou Sir Malot? How art thou deceived? Is he not Tristan's truest friend? When my fond one may not meet me, then always with Malot he's found.
What in him I most fear, to thee makes him most dear. From Tristan to Mark is Merlot's way. There sows he the serpent's seed. Those who in council so quickly decided today on this chase nocturnal have nobler game than is guessed by thee in view for their hallowing hunt.
Tristan to please, the scheme was planned out of sheer pity by Malot his friend. Yet wouldst decry the most faithful. Better than thou he serves Isolde, refusing never what thou deniest. Oh, spare me this bitter suspense. The signal, Brangane. Oh, give him the signal. Put out the torch's torturing light, that wholly she screen us. Beckon the night, whose silence already folds grove and hall, holding the heart in mysterious thrall. Let the light in the darkness die. Put out the affrightening lie. Let my most beloved draw nigh.
Nay, let the torch burn brightly, that warning of danger it bring thee. Alas, the wanton weight of this woe, done by the dreading draught. Fain that I once faithless had been, and had warred with Isolde's will. If deaf and dumb I had been, thy deed were then of death. But in thy shame, thy shuddering need, my deed in thy guilt makes me partner.
Thy deed? O foolish maid! Of Frau Minnie knowest full naught, nor aught of her marvellous might. Of courage's dauntless mood the queen, o'er the world created, reigning supreme, life and death subdued she hath, that from joys and sorrows she wove, changing all hatred to love. The work of death rashly and lightly I planned. Frau Minnie took all the strength from my hand. The rescued one she held as pledge, took o'er the work my heritage. Whatever she change, what she arrange, what she decide, where she may guide, hers I am henceforth surely, obeying her hest demurely.
Too deep thou hast drunk of the treacherous draught, that of reason's light has robbed thee. Mayst thou not see, of that which I warn thee? This once I pray thee, hark to my pleading. Let the torch's illuminating light, ruddy and bright, burn for thy weal throughout the night.
She who in my breast enkindled the fire, she who in my heart awoke the desire, she who as the day thrilled me with light, love's goddess wills that it be night, that brightly she stand in her armor, there where the light doth alarm her, to the watch ascend.
She goes to the door and takes down the torch.
There ward us well, the light. I, were it with my expiring breath, laughing, I would sink its lustre in death.
She casts the torch to the ground, and the light gradually goes out. Brangæna turns away despairingly. She mounts a flight of stairs leading up to the watchtower, slowly disappearing from sight. Isolde listens and looks out, at first shyly, down the avenue of trees, waiting Tristan's approach. Growing more and more impatient, she goes towards the avenue, venturing to look out with more confidence. She waves her handkerchief as a signal, first at longer, then at shorter intervals, and finally, in her passionate impatience, continuously. A sudden gesture of delight shows that she has discerned her friend in the distance. She hurries to the steps and ascends them in order to better watch his approach. When he arrives on the scene, she springs toward him. Second scene.
Isolde, beloved.
Tristan, beloved.
They passionately embrace.
Art thou mine?
Do I behold thee?
Dare I enfold thee?
Fond one securely, Tristan,
Isolde,
here on my breast, resting most surely, close to me pressed.
are these thine eyes, these thy lips, this thy hand, this thy heart?
Heart mine, and thine.
Hold I thee fast,
Is it no dream?
found art at last.
O ravishing rapture,
O sweetest, rarest, happiest, highest, holiest bliss,
all excelling,
all compelling,
life supernal,
love eternal,
dream of olden, now beholden,
overpowering, overtowering,
joy resurgent, love transcendent,
heavenly glory, all resplendent,
my Tristan,
my Isolde,
Tristan,
Isolde,
mine and thine.
twain and one, forever, ever one.
How long so far, how far so long?
How far, yet near, so near, how far?
A foe of friendship, jealous farness, of slothful moments, dallying slowness.
Oh, far and near, so wide asunder, blissful nearness ever yonder.
In the darkness thou, by the light I'm dazed.
The light, the light, the illumining light, how long was its lingering spite? The sun sank down, the day had fled, yet his envy brooded still overhead. His scaring signal he lighted a blaze, and set it at the loved one's door, that I should be led to her nevermore.
But the loved one's hand extinguished the glare. What Brangane could not, Isolde could dare. With Frau Minnie's might allied, I the envious day defied.
The day, with his envy defying, to the hardest of foes be my hatred undying. As thou with the torch, oh could I extinguish, to avenge love's wildering sorrow, the glare of the day and the morrow. Tell me a woe, tell me a care, the day wakes not with his envious glare. Even in the gloaming's awakening glory, heft by my love to her dwelling, reaches his glare out, repelling.
If once on the house love harbored the light, in his own heart, fiercely and bright, held it defiantly, once not the fondest, Tristan, who falsely could swear, was it not the day that from him lied, when he to Ireland a courtling hied, for Mark the king to woo me, to a loveless death to doom me?
The day that on thee shone, when thou wert like a radiant sun, in haloed splendor, glory and light, Isolde took from my sight. What raised me up in rapturous bliss, what sank my heart to earth's abyss. In the light of the day malign, how could Isolde be mine?
Was she not thine when thee she chose? What falsehoods did the day disclose? Were they sufficing reason that she should suffer treason?
What on thee shone with lustrous light, thy wondrous glories, fame and might, there on my heart to fasten, delusion bid me hasten, thy radiant splendor's heavenly glow, its magic showered o'er head and brow, thy worldly honors, day suns gleaming, and joys delusive o'er me beaming, through head and crown in rapture divine, pressed to my bosom's deepest shrine. What there in chastely night darkness concealed from my sight, what without knowledge true, in the twilight yet I foreknew, the image to which my glances feared to make in stealth advances, by the light of day resplendent, shone in beauty all transcendent. What seemed so noble, true, and fair, I sang of, raptured, everywhere. Before the people praised in pride the world's most glorious, queenly bride. The envy that the day awoke, the spite that 'gainst my glory spoke, the spleen that sought in shameless onslaughts to make me fameless, these defiantly I dared, and that honor might be spared. I left our Cornwall, tilt and tourney, and to Ireland made the journey.
Vain glorious serf of day, deceived by him who thee deceived, how could I love thee, feeling not grieved? For in the daylight's mockery splendid, before its glittering glory pretended, there where love's magic bound him sweetly, my heart was filled with hatred completely. Alas, in the depths of my heart, how deep was the wound and the smart! He whom so long I'd concealed, I deemed as a traitor revealed. When in the glaring light of day, he whom I fondly cherished, I could from love's enchantment go, could stand before me, there as foe. That which is traitor showed thee to me, from the light of the glaring day I would flee. Away to the night, take thee with me, to end the deception, for me and for thee. Where end should all lies that our hearts could sever, where together we drink of rapture forever, and in love united there, death all everlasting share.
From thy dear hand, in love and faith, I took undaunted the draught of death, when sweet foredawning my bosom filled, the atonement's promise surely revealed. Then woke in my breast, in marvellous might, the wondrous world of the night. Dead was the day with his spite.
But thou wert deceived by the treacherous drink. Once more did the night into nothingness sink. To him who at death's brink lay was revealed the new glamour of day.
All hail to the potion's gladdening draught, hail to its magic dauntlessly quaffed. Through the gates of death it me onward swept, then widely open the portals leapt of the land of dreamlit sight, the wondrous realm of night. From the embosomed image's sheltering shrine, it scared off the daylight's illusion malign, so that night sighted I duly its beauty and glory saw truly.
But revenge then took the affrighted day, with all thy falsities counselling, aye, for the glories unveiled by the lumining night, to the orb of day's full royal might, thou hadst sheer to surrender, henceforth to live in thy lonely life amid the soulless splendor. How endured were it all? How endured can it be?
Now to the night, all consecrated, the treacherous day, with envy sated, can part us no more with his lies, nor more lore and deception devise. His hollow splendor, his swaggering light, deride those who render their loves to the night. His flickering glamours, fluttering dances, no longer can blind our love-lighted glances, those who lovingly gazed on the night of death, to whom her dread secrets revealed she hath, daylight's falsehoods, glory and might, honor and fame, elusively bright, like dust in the sunbeams scattered, are surely and ruthlessly shattered, mid the daylight's splendors hollow. Hearts one yearning only follow, the yearning for all-hallowed night, where, never-ending, all-transcending, love laughs in lustrous delight.
Tristan leads Isolde gently aside to a flowery bank, when he sinks down on his knees before her and nestles his head within her arms.
Oh, sink around us, night of love, grant oblivion from above.
Take us in thy silence sweet, lead us to thy blessed retreat.
Extinguish now in every glimmer all we thought of waning dimmer, all remembrance, all reminding.
Hallowed twilight's radiance blinding, frenzied fears remove, in world-redeeming love.
Deep in our bosom the sunlight is hidden, star-blessed enchantment laughs out unbidden.
In thy bright glances, bondage golden, in thy enweaving magic holden.
Heart to heart and lip to lip, for each other's breath we sip.
Seared my glance with rapture rending, wanes the world with all its blending.
Gone is the day's delusive glare, its wildering falsehoods, maddening despair. A new glad world now I will dare.
In love life's holiest troven, in bliss life's glory woven,
In rapture never ending,
blending in conscious wish supreme.
Tristan and Isolde sink into complete ecstatic oblivion, reposing head to head on the flowery bank. Brangæna, invisible from the tower.
Watching lonely in the night, ye who laugh in love's delight, heed my warning voice of right. Let the sleeper's warning take, loudly bids my cry, awake! I beware, for the day prepare.
Hark, beloved,
Let me perish,
envious watcher,
never waken.
but the day must Tristan waken.
Let to death the day be yielded.
Day and death with one blow wielded, reach our tender love unshielded.
Ours, beloved, Tristan's love, thine and mine, Isolde's love, to what death, low wielded, can they aye be yielded? Stood I before me, the conqueror grim, give I my life and body to him, that to thy love I so willingly leave. How could his blows, if wielded, e'er reach our love so shielded? For thy sake, life I could gladly surrender, but how could love, too, e'er die with its splendor? The living eternal with me be ended, but if his love be undying, how then could Tristan die of his love?
But is our love called not Tristan and Isolde? The word all wondrous, and that which it binds in the bond of love, if Tristan should die, destroyed were it not by death.
What dies unto death, except what disturbs, if Tristan wills ever Isolde to love, ever for her to live on.
But the sweet word, and, were it destroyed, how else then but with Isolde's last lingering breath were Tristan conquered by death?
So die that we together blend, living, loving, without end. No awaking, no forsaking, gladdening joys, in love partaking, to each other mated, in love both consecrated.
So die that we together blend,
Living, loving,
without end,
no awaking,
no forsaking.
gladdening joys, in love partaking.
To each other mated, forever consecrated.
Isolde inclines her head as if overpowered upon Tristan's breast.
Beware, beware, soon comes the daylight's glare.
Tristan to Isolde.
Shall I hearken?
Let me perish.
Must I waken?
Ne'er awaken.
Shall the day thy Tristan waken?
Be by death the day o'ertaken.
Shall we the threatening day so defy?
From his falsehoods let us fly.
His treacherous glare shall us nevermore scare.
Isolde rising with passionate gestures.
Ever the night shall remain.
Tristan follows her. They embrace in glowing enthusiasm.
O sweetest night, eternal night, holy, hallowed, love's own night.
Those who surrender themselves to thy might, fearless, awake from thy splendor, ne'er to the light.
Now banish the anguish, gracious death, yearningly longed for, love in death.
Sweetly enfolden in thy embrace, to thy warm breast holden, all awakening fears efface.
How believe it, how to leave this? Rapture won us.
Far the sun is, far the morrow's parting sorrow.
Ne'er to languish, more in anguish.
Blessed desirings, joy beholden, sweet expirings, dawning golden.
Bliss unclouded, night enshrouded, no more leaving, no more grieving.
Ere with thee home to be, in the realms of space all boundless, in the sea of dreaming soundless.
Thou, Isolde, Tristan I,
Yet not Tristan, nor Isolde.
joined forever, parting never.
Newer yearning, newer burning.
Endless, endless, joy supreme.
Heart with love agleam.
Love's delirious dream.
Third scene. Brangæna utters a piercing cry. Tristan and Isolde remain in their ecstatic oblivion. Kurvenal rushes in with drawn sword.
Save thyself, Tristan.
He looks back terrified on the way he has come. King Mark, Melot, and cavaliers in hunting costume emerge from the avenue of trees. They walk rapidly toward the foreground and halt, horror-struck, in front of the lovers. Brangæna at the same time descends from the tower and hastens towards Isolde. The latter, unconsciously overcome by her shame, sinks with averted face back upon the flowery bank. Tristan, with a similar involuntary movement, with one arm stretches his mantle widely out so as to conceal Isolde from the gaze of those who have just come upon the scene. In this position he remains for some time, immovable, gazing fixedly upon the men, who look upon him with varied emotion. The morning dawns.
The dreary day, the last has dawned.
Melot to King Mark.
Nay, speak, my lord, and say me if what it charged be true. I placed my head as the pledge, full well of their guilt I knew. Behold him, king, in flagrant wrong. Honour and name most truly I sought to save thee from shame.
Mark, deeply agitated, with tremulous voice.
Sayest thou truly? Weenest thou so? Lo, he stands, the truest among the true. Look ye on him, the friendliest, he of friends. He, so trusted. Could he, pray, strike at my heart? So fearfully me betray? Tristan, a traitor? What hope is left me, that what his treason hath bereft me, may be by Melot's reed preserved to me indeed.
Tristan convulsively and violently.
Daylight's phantoms, morning's madness, deceptive and wild, begone, begone!
Mark with deep emotion.
This to me? This Tristan could do? Whither went fealty, where Tristan played me so false? Whither have honour and truth now sped, when from honour's very fount, from Tristan they have fled? What Tristan as his shield once wore, hath virtue flown for evermore, since from my friend it strayed, when Tristan me betrayed.
Tristan sinks his glances slowly to the ground. While King Mark continues, his features express ever-increasing sorrow and grief.
What served thy service, nobly done, honour and fame, glory and might, that thou for Mark hast won? If honour and fame, glory and might, must now for service nobly done be paid with Mark's own shame, seemed then his thanks to thee so small, when to what thou hadst won him, fame and realm, he made thee heir to them all? Childless he moaned, a loved wife dead, then loved he thee so, that never again had Mark desire to wed. From all the court, from all the land, come prayers and threats, on every hand, that he a queen should choose, nor the realm a consort refuse. And thou, thyself, didst ever urge that what the court and people wanted might readily be granted. At odds with court and land, with troubles much beset, by hook or crook, still he escaped, till Tristan, thou, didst threat for ever to leave both court and land, if thou thyself were not given command a bride for the king to woo, which then thou wert bid to do. The winsome, wondrous bride which thou for me didst bring, who could address her, who could behold her, who with pride as his could enfold her, saying he was not blessed? Yet whom to near I have never ventured, whom always I loved and worshipped untinctured, she the peerless, high and holy, who must serve in spirit wholly, regardless of dangers and foes, the loveliest bride to bring me Tristan then chose. When by such possession made glad, my heart more susceptible grown, than before to all smart there, at the spot most weak and tender, was I stricken by the offender. Thus in thanks didst requite me. Why, O Tristan, why, unfortunate, didst thou so cruelly smite me? There, with a weapon of venom distilled, that heart and soul scorchingly filled, by the loyalest friend, whom never I feared, filled was my heart with deadening blight, so that in secret, in the darkness of night, I the friend must track, as a lover, the wreck of my honour discover, that no heaven can redeem, that no blood can efface, that no misery atones? Oh, why, for me this disgrace? O inscrutable, fathomless, dark, deep mysterious world of woes, who can thy secrets disclose?
Tristan raising his eyes sorrowfully up to King Mark.
O King, of that I cannot even say. What thou dost ask must ever unanswered stay.
To Isolde.
Wherever be Tristan's going, wilt thou, Isolde, follow to the land that Tristan means, where the sun's light never shines? It is the gloomy abode of night, whence forth I came to greet the light, where she who bore me forth from the gloom sank, light surrounded, back to the tomb. There where she who Tristan bore rests in peace for evermore. In the wondrous realm of night, whence I awoke to day and light, Tristan offers there a home, going first to pierce the gloom. If she will follow, and there to him hold, that truly shall answer Isolde.
Since for a stranger's land the friend once sought her hand, the unloyal, loyal and true, truly will Isolde follow. Wilt to thy own realm bear me, thy heritage there wouldst share me. How can I flee from the land by which all the world is spanned? Wherever Tristan's home may be, that will Isolde share with thee. That she may follow, and to thee hold the way now shown to Isolde.
Tristan bends over her and kisses her tenderly upon the brow. Melot starts up enraged.
The traitor, lo! Vengeance, O king! Wouldst suffer this disgrace?
Tristan drawing his sword.
Who dares to wreak his life on mine? My friend was he. He courted and sought my favor. Of my honor and fame, none so anxious as he was ever. He drove my heart to its haughty pride. Let the hue and cry that she, as bride, to the king should surely be wedded, and new fame on my brow be shedded. Thy glances, Isolde, blended him too, with spite aggrieved. He, the friend betrayed, to the king whom I deceived.
He presses upon Melot.
Wear thee, Melot.
As Melot stretches out his sword toward him, Tristan lets his weapon fall and sinks wounded into the arms of Curvenel. Isolde throws herself upon his breast. Mark holds Melot back. The curtain falls. End of Act 2. Act 3 of Tristan and Isolde by Richard Wagner, translated by John P. Jackson. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Act 3 at Tristan's castle in Brittany. First scene. The courtyard of Tristan's castle in Brittany. At one side high buildings, at the other a low castellated wall interrupted by a lookout. In the background the gateway to the castle. The situation is assumed to be on a rocky height from which an extended view of the ocean is had. The garden has the appearance of having been long without a master. It is badly kept and here and there dilapidated and overgrown with grass. In the foreground, Tristan, under the shadow of a great linden tree, lies stretched out upon a couch. He is asleep and seems to be lifeless. At his head sits Curvenel, bending over him, deeply grieved, and listening to hear whether he still breathes. From beyond comes the sound of a shepherd's pipe. The shepherd himself, leaning over the wall, is seen gazing down upon the little group with sorrowful interest.
Curvenal, hey! Say, Curvenal! Here there, friend. Is he awake?
Curvenel shaking his head.
If he should wake, forsooth 'twere but for evermore to leave us, unless Isolde herself appear, who aid alone can give us. Seest thou naught? No ship yet out on the sea?
Another measure, then thou shalt hear, as merry as I can make it. But tell me truly, trusty old friend, how looks it for our lord?
Leave that resting. But who can give answer sheer? Watch out well and cease to sail, then play out merry and clear.
Shepherd putting his hand up to shade his eyes and looking upon the sea.
Lone and bare is the sea.
He puts the shammel to his lips and leaves, playing as he goes. Tristan, motionless with hollow voice.
The olden measure, who called me awake?
He opens his eyes a little and turns his head to look around him.
Where am I?
Kurvenal springing up, alarmed and overjoyed.
Ha! He speaks. Dearest master, Tristan, lord, my hero, my Tristan.
Tristan with much exertion.
Who calls me?
Life is returning, thanks be to heaven. Gladdening life, again unto Tristan given.
Tristan faintly.
Kurvenal, thou? Where was I? Where am I?
Where art thou? In safety, surely, and free. Carry, O lord. Knowest thou not thy father's burg?
My father's bourg?
Gaze all around.
Whose was the music?
The herdsman's measures thou didst hear in thy sleep. On the mountain side, ward thy herds he doth keep.
My herds he wardeth?
That mean I, good lord. Thine the house, castle, and keep. The peasants, leal to the lord beloved, as best they could, have cared for halls and herds. At once my hero, a heritage sure, to serf and peasant bequeathed, when leaving all behind, he went out forth to the world.
And which? The world?
Nay, to Cornwall, bold and fearless, a world of fortune, glory, and honours. Tristan truly there trove.
Am I in Cornwall?
Not now, in Carriol.
How came I here?
Ay, troth, how thou camest? On horseback couldst not well ride. A bark that he a burden bore, but down to the vessel surely my shoulders carried thee. They are full broad. They brought thee safe to the shore, and now thou art home once more, in thy own good land, in thy native land, mid the scenes of youth and the olden, where the sun shines bright and golden, where from thy wounds thou'lt recover, where soon all thy woes shall be over.
He presses Tristan closely to him.
Weenest thou so? I know full better, though I cannot all now say thee where I awoke. I lingered not, and where I lingered, that too I cannot say thee. The sunlight I saw not, nor saw I land or people, but of what I saw, that too I cannot say thee I was. Wherefrom ever I'd been, and whither forever I go, in the great wide realm of the world of night, wotting of knowledge and wisdom naught, but dense oblivion's lull eternal. Then waned the wan world o'er me, of yearning the languishing glory, calling from night anew to the light of the day becked blazing before me. What stayed my sole possession? A love-lit, consuming passion from blissful death me calling to face the glare appalling that treacherous, bright, and golden still on Isolde is falling. In the wondrous realm of sunburst gold, in the glittering daylight, still Isolde. Shall I never more behold her? Never sweetly more enfold her? Loud I heard behind me mortal, close upon me death's grim portal. Now again it stands ajar, beaming sunlight burst each bar, and with radiance lighted eyes must I from the night arise. I to seek her, I to to find her, with embraces, fond and wind her, and in rapture without end, sweetly with Isolde blend. Alas, upon me weirdly press day's grim woes and wildering stress. Cruel, treacherous, all his glare fills my brain with mad despair. Accursed day with traitorous glow, waking ever, newer woe. Burns then for ever thy blazing, blighting, even at night, me from Isolde affrighting. Ah, Isolde, sweet Isolde, when, O loved one, when, oh when, wilt thou the torch extinguish, that all then for thee I relinquish? When wilt thou the glaring remove? When will it be night, O my love?
She whom I once from love of thee defied, I fain quickly would see. Trust what I say. Soon thou shalt see her, here, today. No comfort false am I giving, if she be still among the living.
Tristan very feebly.
Not yet. Put out the light. Not around us yet is the night. Isolde lives, and hark! Her voice calls out from the dark.
Isolde lives? Then let hope's light larf on thee, and for what he has done unbidden, that thy curven'll not be chidden. Near death hast lain, ere since the day when Mellow the accursed gave thee the wounds I nursed. The woeful wounds to heal refusing, thy foolish squire then fancied, she who healed the hurt that Morrowed gave, the wound could easily heal that Mellow's sword did deal. The best of leeches then I sought, from Cornwall she will soon be brought. A sturdy bark sails o'er the sea, bringing Isolde to thee.
Tristan beside himself.
Isolde comes, Isolde nears.
He struggles as if for speech.
Oh, truest, noblest, trustiest friend.
He draws Kurvenal to him and embraces him.
My Kurvenal, thou dauntless friend, thou trustiest defender, what thanks can Tristan render? My sheltering shield, in field and fray, in joy and woe, my constant stay. Those whom I hated, thou hatest too. Those whom I loved, thou lovedst too. When worthy Mark I served of old, wert thou, I truer than gold. Must I the noblest heart so grieve, didst loyally help to deceive, serving only and ever thy lord, ready to bear all that I suffered, but what I now suffer, that canst thou never share. This terrible yearning's cruel unrest, this feverish burning tearing my breast, could I reveal it, could thou but heal it, not with me wouldst thou tarry. Up to the ramparts wouldst hurry, wouldst strain every power, wouldst watch from the tower, sweeping the wide ocean round, till the flash of her sails were found, where over the seas, by the gladdening breeze, and the stress of her love and her fears, Isolde hitherward steers. She comes, aye, fearless and fast. The flag, it waves from the mast. The ship, from the reef let her keep. Dost thou not see, Kurvenal, dost thou not see?
As Kurvenal, not wishing to leave Tristan, hesitates, and the wounded man gazes at him in mute expectation, the mournful music of the shepherd's pipe is again heard. Kurvenal dejectedly.
No ship is yet in sight.
Tristan, who has listened in the waning excitement, now gives way again to his melancholy.
Is that thy direful drift, the old dismal burden of the yearning, doleful dirge, that on twilight breezes, moaning and sighing, sad message bore to the child from the father dying, in shuddering dawn, more sadly stealing to the son, alas, a mother's death revealing, when they who gave me birth breathed their last breath on earth. The old burden's sad refrain, that morning comes to me again, which asked me once, which asks me now, what gruesome fate hung o'er me, since my sweet mother bore me. What gruesome fate? The plaintive burden now repeats it, yearning and dying, dying still to yearn on. No, ah no, it is not so, yearning, yearning, and dying still to yearn, but of yearning not to die, which dying not, yearningly cries for the calm of death to the loved one far away. Dying I lay, mute in the boat, the venomed hurt near to my heart, yearningly moaning sounded the strains. The sails were blown by the breeze toward Erin, to her o'er the seas. The wounds that she nursed till they scarred, she opened widely again with the sword. Then let she the lifted weapon sink, give me the elixir's draught to drink, and when I fondly hoped to recover, the bitterest magic was chosen moreover, that nevermore I might perish, that eternal woes I should nourish. The draught, the draught, the draught I must drain, that ragingly pressed from the heart to the brain. No sweetening death can bring relief, nor free me from this languishing grief. No rest can I find wherever I go, from night to day, tossed to and fro, and ever my woes to nurture on the sunlight's maddening torture. Alas, the sunlight's withering stream, that searches my heart with its scorching gleam. And for this burning, maddening despair, no sheltering shade is found anywhere. For this dread torment's terrible pain, I search for soothing balsam in vain. The maddening drink that my woes unbared, have I myself for my life prepared? From father's need, from mother's woe, from true love's tears that forever flow, from laughter and weeping, rapture and wound, I the elixir's poison found, the drink I brewed that woes contained, that rapture quaffing to the dregs I drained. Accursed be the terrible draught, accursed the brew that I quaffed.
He sinks back exhausted. Curvenal, who seeks in vain to soothe Tristan, cries out in despair.
My lord, my Tristan, horrid enchantment! O love's deceit, O love's distress! The world's great marvel and light sinks helpless back into night. Now lies he prone, the winsome one, who has he ever lived and won? Behold the reward that love to him gave, the woe that in him has been done.
Sobbing.
Art thou then dead? Liv'dst no more? Has the curse been victor over love?
He listens to his breathing.
O rapture! No, He lives, he breathes. Ay, gently his lips yet move.
Tristan beginning very softly.
The ship, seest thou not yet?
The ship? In sooth, 'twill come to-day. Cannot remain out much longer.
And on it Isolde, smiling, see, she drains the cup of rapture to me. Seest thou not? Canst thou, Isolde, not see? Seest how sweetly she advances o'er the ocean's broad expanses, on flowery billows lovingly lifted, on to the land tenderly drifted. She sends me hope in her glances bright. She brings me the last consoling delight. Isolde, ah, Isolde, how holy and fair art thou! And Cornwall, what? Where is thy sight? Up to the ramparts, foolish white. That's what I see, as clear as day, may not as phantoms drift away. Up to the tower, dost thou not hear me? Go, scan the horizon, linger not near me. The ship, Isolde's ship, thou canst not miss it, canst but see it. The ship, is it in sight?
While Cornwall still hesitates to leave Tristan, the sound of the herdsman's shamail is heard. Cornwall springing up joyfully.
O triumph! Rapture!
He rushes up to the tower and gazes out to sea.
Ha! The ship! From the north it comes to the land.
Knew I not so? Said I not so? That she still lives, and life to me gives. For me exists Isolde alone. What were the world from which Isolde were gone?
Cornwall exultingly.
Ha ha! Ha ha! How bravely she speeds! How bend the glad sails to the wind! How she darts! How she flies!
The flag! The flag!
The white flag streams from the masthead, joyous and bright.
Hey-ah! Oh joy! In the gladdening day! Isolde comes hither! Isolde to me! Seest her thyself?
From sight by the rocks shut off is the ship.
Passed she the reefs? O perilous sea! There rages the breakers, shattering the ship. Who holds to the helm?
The surest of seamen.
Betrayed he me too? Is he not Mellove's ally?
As true as myself.
A traitor art thou, ill-starred one. Seest thou Isolde?
Not yet.
She is lost.
Ha ha! There you are. Now past are the rocks, in safety at last in the sheltered stream. The prow is pointing to land.
Hey-aha! Cornwall, trustiest friend, all my land and wealth, to-day I bequeath thee.
She sets to the shore.
Speak, dost thou see her? Seest thou Isolde?
'Tis she. She beckons.
Oh, winsomest bride!
In the haven, the keel. Isolde! Ha! With one swift leap she lightly springs to the land.
Down from the tower, indolent gaper, away, away to the strand. Help her, help my beloved.
Sooth shall these arms soon bring her to thee. But thou, Tristan, rest thee in calm on thy couch.
He hurries away. Tristan, in the greatest excitement, tossing on his couch.
Hail, glad sunlight! Hail, brightest day! Hail, sweetest, fairest, sunniest day! Courses my blood in rapturous flood, joy all transcending, gladness unending, To the couch chained fast with the traitorous tether, let me fly where at last our glad hearts may throb together. Tristan the hero, exulting and strong, from death tears him loose, breaks the grim thong.
He raises himself up on his couch.
All wounded and bleeding, once by Morold nigh slain, all wounded and bleeding, Isolde today I will gain.
He tears away the bandages from his wounds.
Ha ha! The red blood, how it merrily flows!
He springs from his couch and staggers forward.
She whom my wounds shall for evermore close, comes here in her glory to aid me to life. Let darkness fall o'er me, fade the world and its strife.
He staggers to the middle of the stage. Isolde from without.
Tristan, Tristan, beloved.
Tristan in the greatest excitement.
The voice of the light, the signal, ha! The torch is extinguished to her, to her.
Second scene. Isolde breathlessly enters. Tristan, unable to control himself, plunges totteringly towards her. They meet. Isolde receives him in her arms.
Tristan, ha!
Tristan, dying, looking up to Isolde.
Isolde.
He dies.
'Tis I, Isolde. Oh, my beloved, wake up once more. Hark to my voice. Hearest thou not? Isolde calls. Isolde came with Tristan, truly to die. Wilt thou not speak, but for one moment linger, O loved one? Look to the light. Such dreary days I have waited, forsaken, for this brief hour with thee, love, to waken. Betrayed was Isolde, betrayed by Tristan, of one last fleeting hour of bliss. In earth's last joyous greeting, where are his wounds, that I may them heal? That the night her wonders, her rapture reveal? Not on thy wounds be ended the strife, but blended in love be extinguished the light of our life. All broken his look, still the heart. Could Tristan truly from me thus part? Not even a gentle flutter of breath. Now she must sorrow, looking at death. Who, so joyed with thee to be wedded, bravely came over the sea? Too late, too late. O traitorous one, why punish me so? What wrong have I done? Who my guilt can forgive, if thou do not live? Who now all the woe of Isolde can know? Awake once more, awake to the light. Tristan, ah, hark, he wakes, beloved, night.
She sinks down unconscious upon Tristan's body. Third scene. Cornwall, who re-entered immediately after Isolde, has remained speechless and awestruck, gazing upon the scene, his eyes fixed staringly upon Tristan. From without is heard the dull sound of conflict and clash of arms. The shepherd clambers over the wall. Shepherd coming hurriedly to Cornwall.
Cornwall, here, a second ship.
Cornwall starts up and gazes over the ramparts, while the shepherd from the distance gazes horror-struck upon Tristan and Isolde.
Death and devils!
In a burst of rage,
Fiends of hell! Mark and Mello, I know them well. Weapon and stones, here, guard ye the gate.
He hastens with the herdsman towards the gate, which both endeavour to barricade. Steersman rushing in.
Mark follows fast with knights and men. Vain all defence, we're surely all lost.
Hither and help us. So long as I live, no foe shall enter within.
Brangæna's voice without calling from below.
Isolde, mistress.
Brangæna's voice?
Curvenal calling down to her.
What seekest thou here?
Give way, Curvenal. Where is Isolde?
Traitress, thou too? Woe to thee, false one.
Melot's voice from without.
Stand back, thou fool. Bar us not out.
Curvenal with savage laughter.
Praised be the day when I can smite thee.
Melot with armed men appears below the gateway. Curvenal dashes upon him and fells him to the ground.
Die, thou damnable wretch.
Fourth scene.
Woe is me. Tristan!
He dies. Brangæna still without.
Curvenal, madman. Here, we are friends.
Treacherous maid.
Curvenal to his men.
Go on, follow me. Force them all back.
They fight. Mark without.
Hold, thy raving one! Why all this madness?
Here raves none but death. None else, O king, is there here as booty. If thou wouldst have it, so come.
He presses upon Mark and his followers.
Stand back, thou demented one!
Brangæna has climbed over the wall at the side and hastens to the foreground.
Isolde, mistress, joy and hail. O dreadful sight! Livest thou, Isolde?
She kneels down beside Isolde. Mark, who with his followers has driven Curvenal and his men back from the gate, now presses into the court.
Oh, treachery dread! Tristan, where art thou?
Curvenal, severely wounded, staggers in front of the king, going towards the foreground.
There lies he. There. Here, where I will lie.
He sinks down near Tristan's feet.
Tristan! Tristan! Isolde! Woe!
Curvenal grasping at Tristan's hand.
Tristan, loved one, chide him not. If thy trusted one now follows.
He dies.
Dead are they all. All are dead. My knight, my Tristan, truest of friends. To-day, alas, must thou thy friend betray. To-day, when he comes to bring thee proof of his love. Awake, 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 and look on my woe, thou truest, most faithless of friends.
Bending down, weeping over Tristan's body. Brangæna, who has restored Isolde to consciousness.
She wakes. She lives. Isolde, hear. Hear me, mistress beloved. Gladdening tidings let me but tell thee. O trust again thy Brangæna. For her blended guilt she hath deeply atoned. When thou hadst fled, quickly she hied to the king the elixir's secret. Scarcely he learnt, when with pauseless haste he put out to sea, that he might reach thee, that he might lead thee, beloved, to Tristan, thy friend.
Oh, why, Isolde? Why this to me, when clearly all was revealed of that which before was so dark? How joyed was I fondly to find that free of all guilt was thy friend, and thee to wed with the friend at last. With sails all set I followed fast, but who misfortune can e'er o'ertake, and peace was left far in the wake. Oh, that the need had sooner ceased, for death's grim harvest I but increased.
Dost thou not hear us? Isolde, loved one, will he not regain his voice?
Isolde, unconscious of all that has been passing around her, fixes her gaze with ecstatic fondness and inspiration upon Tristan's body.
Mild and sweetly, see him smiling, see his eyelids softly open. Look you, comrades, see ye not? How in radiant light he rises, bright and lustrous, loved and lordly, starlight haloed, borne on high. See ye, comrades, see ye not? How his heart in rapture stressed stirs and rises in his breast. Through his lips so sweet and mild breathes his spirit reconciled. Comrades, see, see and hear ye not? To me only do they render all their songs in accents tender, sorrow burdened, rapture guerdoned, softly moaning, all atoning, upward soaring, in me pouring, echoing round me, love imploring, louder sounding, me surrounding, sound that through the world rejoices, waves of wondrous yearning voices, tones that swell and sink and darken. Shall I breathe them? Shall I hearken? Shall I sip them, dive within them, leaving life and yearning in them? In the billowy surge, in the echoing dirge, in the wildering world breath joyously merge, and in desiring, sweet expiring, as in a dream, find rapture supreme.
Isolde sinks as if transfigured in Brangaina's arms softly upon Tristan's body. Deep emotion and sorrow among those standing around. King Mark invokes a blessing upon the dead. The curtain falls slowly. End of Act 3. End of Tristan and Isolde by Richard Wagner, translated by John P. Jackson.